A city that takes you back to the times of the Middle Ages, the former residence of the King of Poland, the mausoleum, where the tomb of the commander who captured Moscow is located, the ancient castle with defensive walls and a gateway, the city hall, the market square and stately temples, a unique wooden church which is registered on the UNESCO World Heritage List. Today we're going to spend the weekend in the Renaissance ideal city, Zhovkva. Zhovkva is a small city which bears the status of a state historical and architectural reserve and the rayon center of the Lviv Oblast. The first settlement was founded in 1399. The settlement was granted the city rights in 1603. The city of Zhovkva, as an open-air museum, is a contender for the UNESCO World Heritage List. The population is almost 14,000. The city is located at the crossroads of international highways located 30 kilometers north of Lviv and 35 kilometers from the Polish border. Some travelers say that the city resembles Lviv. Others note similarities with Krakow or claim that it is an exact copy of Prague. Anyway, let us check this out for ourselves. Therefore, we're now traveling to the Lviv Oblast to pay a visit to Zhovkva and learn more about its history and residents. Welcome to Zhovkva! Here's the central square of the city, and it feels as if you immediately find yourself in a completely different era. Zhovkva is undoubtedly a unique city, where numerous outstanding monuments are densely located in such a small area. They immediately capture the spirit at the moment when you first see them. But first and foremost, let's learn where the city got its name from. Grand Hetman of the Crown Zhovkva built a castle, but he not only built a castle for himself, he also founded a town. He sought to protect local residents from enemy raids and develop trade in the region so that the local residents could become wealthier. He named the city in honor of his family name, since the Zhovkva family seat was in the village of Zhovkva, which today is known as Zhovkva in Poland. And since the place of his service was here, he decided to establish a new city. Zhovkva built a new cradle for the family and named it in honor of his family name. The city of Zhovkva was built according to ideal Renaissance urban planning. It means that all the city structures were planned and every architectural site was given a special meaning and location. The massive square and wide streets ensure that there is refreshing air and the city is always well lit. There is also plenty of space for a street market and for celebratory processions. All the streets have a slight slope so that the rain can clean the trash and mud from them. Of course, the main place in the city is the market square, which is located in front of the castle. Buildings with high roofs, known as kamenitsi, were built from the western and eastern sides of the square, and the Church of St. Lawrence in the western part of the city completes this architectural ensemble. According to the original architectural plan, the defense walls along the castle perimeter with casemates, wooden galleries and a city gateway were built adjacent to the square. This city is the only one that was so well preserved in Ukraine. It is considered private property because it was built as private castle by Stanislav Zhovkva. It is Renaissance because it was constructed in the 16th to 17th centuries, in the times of the late Renaissance era. It is ideal because its architects applied the urban planning principle to make a better place for living for everyone, from noblemen to peasants. Zhovkva was a private city and its owner had carte blanche to do whatever he wanted to do. But at the same time, the city had the Magdeburg rights. It means that the owner had the right to interfere in court rulings, grant pardons to convicts that were sentenced to death. If you go to the top of the Ratusha or City Hall, you can see from above how the market square looks at present. To be sure, it is now called Viche Square. It is considered the central and the most outstanding city monument. All the main architectural monuments of Zhovkva, which will be mentioned later, are closely adjacent to it. Zhovkva may be described differently. Some may only come to the city to visit our unique castle, though the whole city might be attractive to others as it is recognized as an open-air museum. Zhovkva is in second place in terms of the number of historical monuments in the Lviv Oblast. Of course, the city of Lviv is in first place. More than 55 monuments of national status are concentrated within the confines of 100 hectares territory of the preserved area. Pilgrims come here and visit a huge number of temples that are located in our city. No doubt, most tourists come to see the castle of the medieval times, and for good reason, because it truly deserves one's attention. The Zhovkva Castle is a noteworthy architectural monument and is the main fortification of the city. It was built in 1606 by the founder of Zhovkva Stanislav Zholkevsky, and it was designed by architect Pavlo Shaslivy. The central object of this small city is its castle. This is the owner's family estate, where life took its course. Notable officials and noblemen of the state, which was called the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, such as Hetman Zholkevsky, King John III Sobieski, and many others, lived there. Here, ambassadors were received, historical events were held, balls were arranged, significant meetings were conducted, and life was in full swing. People lived here, took care of housekeeping, and even prepared for military campaigns, because in the 17th century there were continuous wars and battles. The castle was built of brick and stone, quadrangular, with towers in the corners. It was surrounded by a moat not only from the outside, but from the side of the city. The castle was well protected from enemy raids. Along the axis of the northeastern building, there are gates with a gate tower. Once there were 4 gateways to the city. Today, only 2 of them have been preserved. The castle has been changing over the years. Different owners completed and decorated the palace. We're in the western tower of the castle. It is here where 3 museum exhibitions are located. This is a museum of forge, the Hetman's Hall, and the Museum of the Ideal City. Our museum is unique in that way that we're able to introduce to our guests the founder of our city and outstanding personalities who were somehow notable to our city. If we take into account the exposition on the 3rd floor, the whole museum tells about how ideal the city is. I have the task of restoring an aged forgery and make it functional. Indeed, it is not a hard issue to restore old drafts. The forgery has been restored based on those old drafts. And when visiting Zhovkva today, tourists come to the forgery. They look for some smithy objects. We have old restored objects that were found during excavations. Although the forgery is a museum, it is actually functional today. We carry out different workshops that attract many people. It is hard to turn down an invitation like this. The assistant of our cameraman also decided to try himself in the blacksmith's art and get down to work. Come visit us again. We welcome you to our wonderful castle. This is how the clock bell chimes the sounds of the Ukrainian anthem every day at midday. Once upon a time, a trumpet musician played here, notifying all citizens of the exact time of day. Now the City Hall contains the exhibition of the Old City Museum. Access to the observation deck is offered to visitors. The Church of St. Lawrence is next to the City Hall. The building, intended to be a family vault and a hall of fame in honor of the Zhovkva family, was built over 12 years on the artificial embankment made by hands of Turkish war prisoners. The main entrance is framed by a white stone carved portal, which is considered one of the most notable Renaissance portals in Ukraine and Poland. The temple also serves as a monument to major Polish military victories. Here, soldiers were greeted and honored, and divine services were held in honor of the victories of Polish King John Sobieski over the Turkish army near Vienna. And each year, the king received ambassadors during those celebrations. This temple was of a great value for him. Today, it still preserves its importance for residents of Zhovkva and Polish tourists. This is a site of great cultural and historical value for all the residents and city officials of Zhovkva.
Для туристів, які відвідують нас з Польщі, приїжджають, має історичне, культурне значення для всієї Жовкви.
According to some opinions, the church can be called Small Wawel for the number and significance of the tombs of prominent figures of the Polish state. Stanisław Żółkiewski himself was buried in the dungeon together with his wife Regina, with his son Jan, the father of the king Jakub Sobieski, the king's sons, state secretaries, friars, patrons of the church. The church is considered the largest, most beautiful and richest building of Zhovkva. Locals call its bell tower the Little Leaning Tower of Pisa because it is slightly tilted.
Жовква є прекрасним містом, побудованим в такому затишному куточку, тому що нас також оточує.
Zhovkva is such a beautiful town, which is built in such a hideaway, surrounded by mountains, and is very quaint place. When tourists come to us, they call it Little Switzerland. Our temple is also exceptional. There are few temples of such cultural value in Western Ukraine, which are also preserved in such a good condition and restored.
Настільки культурної і історичної цінності, які також відновлені, які знаходяться в такому чудовому стані.
We invite you to visit our city and our temple, the most historical monument. There are so many interesting places in the city that it is simply impossible to remember everything that beheld you. Every corner of the old city is interesting and deserves attention. Therefore, in the next program, we will visit the unique wooden church. We will see the castle walls and the ancient entrance gates closer up. We will try some delicious dishes of local cuisine and will take home special souvenirs as mementos of our visit to this wonderful city. The majestic square, the unique church, which told about how we saved the world, the church, which was painted by the officer of the siege riflemen, where all the heroes of Ukraine pray for our freedom and unity, the castle, the synagogue, the fabulous panorama from the tower, and a very soulful museum in this tower, a small, quaint town where you can relax from the hustle and bustle of Lviv or Kiev, as well as a small piece of the Renaissance. This is a wonderful encyclopedia of our history and our antiquity. So come visit Zhovkva. We warmly welcome you to our ancient city and offer you friendly hospitality. Travel around Ukraine, discover new cities, and tell the whole world about them. May every trip be a wonderful and unforgettable experience.